Guys date younger women because they're easily manipulated. They're gonna be very happy with a few crumbs because maybe they didn't experience much in the world. They're gonna be just easily impressed. And it's way cheaper to date a younger girl.
Why low quality 40 years old men tend to go for younger women. And it's not because the 40 years olds are really old and we look so horrible and we have lots of baggage. That's not true anymore. There is tons of 40 years olds that look really good nowadays because it's easy to look good nowadays. There is tons of 40 years old that have good jobs, they have their goals and dreams and zero baggage whatsoever. However, you cannot play and manipulate a 40 years old the way you can a 20 years old because the 40 years old has life experience. She can see through your BS, she can see through your red flags. Therefore, it's so much easier to get a 20 years old. And simply, these guys have no choice anymore because you're not good for a 40 years old woman.
What do you mean a woman's attractiveness deteriorate after 30? You mean it's not after 25? Okay, let's be real. It doesn't matter whether the man is 18 or if the man is 80, he will still prefer a woman that's 18. That's just how man works. But the question that we should be asking is why do men collectively prefer younger women? Let's talk about it. One of the reasons why men, especially older men, prefer younger women is because they make them feel young again. Not everyone likes the idea of getting old, where you only have memories of your younger days to remind you how it feels like to be young. So the easiest way to make them feel young again is to find someone really young. Another reason why men prefer younger women is because younger women typically don't want commitment, which is perfect for some men who are strangely allergic to commitment. See, when a woman is still so young, she's not thinking of settling down, but of course she still wants to go out and have her fun. So when a man goes out with her, he knows that she doesn't want anything serious, so he knows he can go out and have fun and not take any responsibility. That's pretty much perfect in a man's eyes. Go out and have fun with no strings attached. Another two reasons which is closely linked to each other is how the younger woman makes a man feel wanted or needed, just as how an older man can have the ultimate control over the younger woman because she is less experienced. You see, because of the fact that younger women has generally lesser experience with every aspect of their life, she has a higher tendency of turning to men who are older than her for advice, to guide her, etc. And men who go for younger women also know this. They know that younger women typically has lesser experience in most part of their lives. They know that younger women are easily impressed as compared to an older one. And they also know that because of the fact of their lack of experience, she is more easily predictable and easier to manage, and in other words, easier to control. What does this all mean? What this all means is that younger women typically are open, they don't want commitment, they look up to older men, they are not overly critical of men, they make men look better. But if you truly study the reason why older men prefer younger women, you'll realize that it's because younger women feed their ego with the least amount of effort from men. That's all.
What men say they want is different from what they actually respect.
She is exactly right, and let me tell you why. Whenever I've been the type of girl who was rude to guys, didn't show up for dates, didn't want to talk to them, ignored them, that is when I saw them try the hardest. That is when I saw them put their best foot forward and try to please me in every single way. Whenever I was the nice girl and wanted to take care of a guy and look after a guy, that is when I got walked all over the most. What I came to realize through those situations was men are hunters. Men love challenges. If you tell them, I will never fall in love with you, he will never stop until you do. As much as guys always talk about the low maintenance guy, I just want to chill, low-key girl. No, they don't. In theory, that's what they think that they want. But in actuality, they are going to go for the girl who is dismissing them, who is rude to them, ignoring them, and all sorts. They do not want that typical good girl. Let me tell you.
Sleeping with a guy that is not taking care of you financially, who does not come through for you physically and emotionally, is one of the biggest mistakes that a lady can make. Before you say, oh, but he is a comrade, or but he cannot afford this, okay. A comrade will go out for a weekend to go out and have fun. He will use 700 shillings to buy chrome jean. He will use 500 shillings probably as the fare, and you haven't added food and other ETCs that he might need. So he can use 1,500 bob for that weekend for him to have fun. And a stem of a flower at City Market costs 30 shillings. He cannot use 500 shillings to buy you an okay bouquet but he can use 1500 to go out, aka he does not prioritize you and he doesn't see the need of him doing things for you. And before any guy comes and says, oh, but that's gold digging advice, you would advise your daughter to do the same thing. You wouldn't want your daughter to just be out here sleeping with a guy who is not taking care of her. Your daughter suffers while still sleeping with somebody. That's not a good advice to anybody. I have seen girls move boys to their homes in a quote of we build together. That's like the worst thing that you can ever make. I see girls going to boys' houses to clean for them, to cook for them. A guy who has never taken you out on a date. You'll say that, oh, I'm dating this guy and he has never taken you out on a date. Isn't dating and date and they're supposed to be like in the same word and they're supposed to be the same thing? How will you say you're dating someone who has never taken you out on a date? Like ever. You sleep with him, you do everything for him, you have removed yourself from the market. Nobody can court you anymore because you are with a guy who has never done anything for you. And I've also come to realize that you ladies are not even enjoying those sexual activities anyway. You either do it because you feel like you've already started, so you just continue, or you don't want to add another body count, or you feel like that's the way that it should be so that the guy actually likes you. But that can't be further from the truth. Casual sex has been made to seem like such an okay thing, and this friends with benefits type of thing. What benefits as a lady are you getting? The guy is not taking care of you. You are just suffering. The same way that you came to his house is the same way that you leave. What benefits are you guys actually getting? Because it seems to me like you are getting played. When you talk to people who have worked in the sex industry or who have done sex work, they tell you how exhausting it is to give your body to somebody who is not taking care of it. Somebody whose only intention is just to get that excitement and leave you. Soul ties are a thing, and I want people to stop saying that it's not, that all you need to do is go shower after sex. No, it is a bond, it is chemistry, it is spiritual. So for you to just do it with somebody who's not taking care of you, you're taking a huge loss, you're taking a huge L. I want the ladies to start realizing how important their bodies are, how valuable your bodies are. We have literally been given the job of bringing life into this world. Why will you give your body to somebody who does not make sure that you are okay? Men's job is to provide and protect. You guys are doing the protection and provision. Ladies, why are you taking the man's job? Why are you becoming more of a mother to this man than being his lady and actually being taken care of? A guy who likes you, who loves you, who views you as his dream woman will want to take care of you. I want you ladies to stop viewing yourselves as insignificant, as somebody who doesn't deserve the best. If you want to go out on a date and that's your standard, then stand on it. Stop being like, okay, I'll just come to your house even if we have never gone on a date, then I sleep with you and then I go home. Come on, you're worth more than that. Being celibate will heal you. You don't have to be out here having sex with people. Being single will heal you. Take time and build your career, build in your education, build yourself for who you are instead of just sleeping with people just cause, and people who are not taking care of you. Your body is valuable. Make the man work for it. Okay? Love you.
Most women in their early 20s, they're very forgiving. They make a lot of excuses for their boyfriends. They're even like permissive of unacceptable behavior. Men in their 30s, 40s, and 50s absolutely know this down to their core. Why? Because they've tried to date 30-year-old women, and those women saw the way that they lived and they said, fuck no. They saw the way that they dressed. They said, go learn how to dress yourself. They saw them getting into legal trouble. They said, no, I'm not gonna date a criminal. And they bailed. But a 30-year-old man loser is gonna see a 20-year-old, and they know that 20-year-old is gonna make excuses for why they went to jail. And it's well known that a man's either gonna bring you up or take you down with him. A lot of the women who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s have got their wits about them, and they see that man and they're like, no, I'm up here, he's down here. Like, the act of even bringing him up there is gonna be met with a lot of resistance or a lot of resentment in the long term. Because a lot of the times they're happy living in squalor, they're happy being low effort, and they lack the executive function to maintain the life that the woman in her 30s, 40s, and 50s is already living. So while the 30, 40, and 50-year-olds are like, hey, we're not gonna raise no more grown man babies, especially ones in their 30s and 40s and 50s, they reject them. Then those men run back and they find the young ones, and they come to it with a lot of misplaced rage. Rage that they should have at themselves. Now, it is one thing to be attracted to youthful features and youthful behavior. Obviously, nobody wants someone who's bitter, but there are a fraction of them that do like children. A lot of those men just want someone who is as close to a child as possible because they want a child. And one of the things that I noticed being in my late teens to early mid-20s, usually the men that I wanted who were 30 years old and beyond were not the ones who wanted me. It was always a weirdo who was looking at me like, who was very eager to be with me.